Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, vaccinations for COVID-19 have begun in Tasmania. Aged care residents in the state's northwest, the first to receive the jab today, ahead of the broader rollout tomorrow.
Rolling up her sleeves for the COVID fight.
So you've done it? Yes. All done.
The coronavirus vaccine is at last in Tasmania and going to those who need it most. 92-year-old Judith Miles didn't hesitate for a second.
Oh, I was ready to have it when they said we were going to get it. I'll go straight back and ring my daughter in Adelaide. She'll be thrilled to bits to know Mum's had it.
The only side effect, dance fever. Vaccinations began today at 12 aged care sites across the north and northwest. Most of the 95 residents at Respect Aged Care in Ulverston received the jab by this afternoon.
We're overwhelmed and quite happy that we were one of the first sites. We've been looking for this moment for the last 12 months since the pandemic hit, almost 12 months to the day.
Shirley Corbett was among the first to receive the shot.
Oh, yeah, someone's got to be first.
She has a stern message.
Everyone needs to be vaccinated, I reckon. Yeah, because it's a terrible thing to have. Yeah, we need it.
The state government's separate COVID program will start tomorrow morning. Health and quarantine workers will be first in line at the clinic in the Royal Hobart Hospital.
We're not making the vaccinations mandatory. It's important that all Tasmanians have a full understanding that the vaccination program is safe, it's effective, and of course it's free.
Another shipment of the Pfizer vaccine is expected on Sunday. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
A long-awaited appeal by convicted murderer Susan Neal-Fraser looks set to go ahead next week after lengthy delays caused by COVID-19. Arranging a video link for supporters and COVID-safe seating were raised at a hearing in the Supreme Court in Hobart today.
It's very encouraging, I think, to see that the court is giving consideration to live streaming or video streaming or delayed streaming or whatever. There was a few different terms used, and obviously the judges are going off to consider that.
The matter was adjourned until Wednesday. A University of Tasmania review into new voluntary assisted dying laws has been finished as Parliament prepares to debate the issue again next week. The state government requested the review last year when the legislation reached the lower house. The 114-page document does not make recommendations but instead analyses the proposal. Premier Peter Gutwein says if passed, the legislation will need to be the best law possible and have strong protections. A North West Coast jewellery store has been targeted with around $40,000 worth of jewellery stolen early Sunday morning. Police have charged a 20-year-old Burnie man.
An early morning smash and grab. The alleged offender uses a hammer crawling through the door before destroying glass cabinets and pinching pieces of jewellery worth a total of $40,000, all in the matter of 3 minutes.
There's still a lot to do for the next couple of days, just sorting things out, but we should be back up and running in a couple of days.
Police arrested a Burnie man at his home over the burglary several hours later. The business has been forced to close for the next few days while staff clean up the mess left behind. Dean says he's thankful the alleged offender has been caught and the jewellery has been returned.
General jewellery, white gold jewellery, yellow gold jewellery, coloured stones, nothing real expensive which we have locked up and put away at night. But there must have been enough of it for it to add up.
The 20-year-old faced court today and was remanded in custody to face the Supreme Court next month. It's the second jewellery store to be targeted in Burnie in less than 12 months. In May, My Jewellers was hit with $17,000 worth of watches stolen. Letitia Wallace, 7 Tasmanian News.
Tasmania Police has confirmed it will release a review into the handling of the James Griffin investigation. The former paediatric nurse took his own life in 2019 after allegations he committed child sex abuse came to light. Police say the report will likely be completed this week.
That's clearly our intention for the report to be released publicly, subject to the fact that it won't prejudice the existing Commission of Inquiry.
There is no reason for these findings from this Tasmania Police investigation to not be made public before the Commission of Inquiry. This will no doubt form an important part of the Commission's work.
The Commission of Inquiry is expected to begin later this month. In Tasmania, more than 13,000 people are living with dementia. Now the state's first multidisciplinary memory and cognition clinic has opened in Hobart. The facility will allow people to get a dementia diagnosis on the day of testing and assist with research into the condition.
A new clinic helping Tasmania to diagnose dementia earlier.
I'd just like to come through and have a seat. Thank you. It's primarily a diagnostic clinic. People will be given the opportunity to have a multidisciplinary assessment and have that diagnosis provided.
Which can be provided on the day, stopping patients from having to make multiple trips to specialists.
So that you can have a plan for the future, your GP can have a plan for the future, and that's going to help you moving forward if there is a concern.
The Tasmanian Memory and Cognition Clinic is the first of its kind in Tasmania, opening its doors today.
It's a great pleasure to be opening the Island Clinic today. This has been a long time in planning, somewhat interrupted by COVID.
Hoping it will allow people to be diagnosed earlier.
Dementia now is the #1 cause of death for women in Australia. And it's the #2 cause overall in Australia. So this is something that we really need to be aware of.
Kim and Danny have both had experiences of dementia through their parents.
I think you've got to get onto them a lot earlier. Dad's situation, he was, I'm having trouble with my memory. He knew he had a problem.
So I think if you had this opportunity for early diagnosis, you'd be reassured that those things weren't going on for you.
Those who attend the clinic will also be able to contribute to research into the condition.
Which won't necessarily help the people right now, but it's helping people in the future to have a better diagnostic test.
People who have had issues with their memory or thinking for 3 months or more are advised to consult their doctors. Next Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
9 schools in Tasmania have completed the transition to offer grades 11 and 12 this year, including Exeter High School. The Education Minister toured upgraded facilities and spoke to some of the students who decided to complete their senior secondary education at the local school.
I definitely hope in the future that we actually have a number of students actually continuing on past Year 10, but we're actually starting to even look beyond that and working with the primary school to engage students in agriculture.
There are more opportunities for our students to stay at school longer, more opportunities of course of developing their skills and being productive members of our community.
Students say the agriculture program, as well as shorter travel times, were part of the appeal to remain at the school. A colt from Armidale Stud is the top seller from today's Tasmanian Yearling Sale, snapped up for an eye-watering $150,000, while another breeder has had its biggest sale yet, with a filly drawing in a 6-figure sum also.
Classy colts and fabulous fillies. And bidding wars between buyers pushed prices up.
A nice filly, this. You'd love to train them.
A catalogue of well over 100 horses paraded through Carrick's Quercus Park, the first time the Yearling Sale has been held there. The early bolter was a bay filly from Alva Stud in Hagley. Just the 5th horse up for auction, she fetched $120,000 from a Queensland buyer.
It's just a wonderful feeling to have everything all come together.
The sale was a record breaker for Alva Stud, its first horse to net 6 figures. Price isn't everything, of course. Alva Stud also bred the state's mare of the moment, Stella Star. She went for just $13,000 in 2018.
Small, but absolutely perfect filly, and Bill Ryan recognised that, obviously, and she must have a huge heart in there that's to be able to do so well.
The auction was lively.
70,000, no one able to 70,000.
Despite COVID limits forcing some to stay outside. But with Tasmanian racing producing plenty of winners in recent years, interstate interest continues to grow.
The graduates out of this sale are very good. They go to the mainland and compete.
The top seller, this colt from Armidale Stud, going to Cressy-based CRT Racing for $150,000. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmanian News.
More than 25 vineyards are preparing to bring their finest drops to the Botanical Gardens this weekend for the annual Tasmanian Wine Festival. It will be Torchbearer Wine's first year at the event, showcasing a selection of its unique, natural, biodynamic wines.
I also have a very special wine that I will release on the day that has been spending
21 years in the bottle, so very limited bottles that we will only sell by the glass.
You can come along and basically get a great selection of Tasmanian wines, not just in genre or type of wine, but also we really look to cover the entire state.
Tas Wine Fest will kick off this Friday night, offering 4 separate sessions over the weekend to comply with COVID restrictions.
Launceston has locked in an AFLW match for this weekend under a revised fixture. The Kangaroos will play Carlton on Saturday night at UTAS Stadium. The Roos will be looking to snap a 2-game losing streak. This round is also the AFLW's first Indigenous round. Queensland has chased down Tasmania's total in the Marsh One-Day Cup with 14 balls to spare. Usman Khawaja was the top scorer with an impressive 93. The Tigers were rattled by paceman Billy Stanlake, who claimed the top 4 in the home side's order. His figures of 4 for 24, earning the Queenslander Man of the Match honours. Jordan Silk was handy with 77 off 88 balls, but Khawaja caused plenty of headaches with the bat, leaving the Bulls well in control by the time Nathan Ellis ended his innings. The Tigers' second game of the tournament is against Victoria in a fortnight. And a year out of action hasn't affected the Launceston Tornados' cohesion. Some of the side's top billings say spirit is strong among players after a tough pre-season. Coach Sarah Veal is keeping a close eye on conditioning after the year off, while new recruit Keely Frolling is looking ahead to a showdown against her sister when the Tawns play Ballarat.
For me, every game I have marked off and want to win, but that gives me a little bit of extra motivation playing against Alicia. I played against her twice in WNBL, and got up both times, so we've got to keep that record going.
Our pre-season approach has been very different, but obviously we've been lucky enough to have a very long pre-season, and I believe the Tornadoes have used that really well. We can't have girls coming back in too quickly because they've had that amount of time off.
Season opens with Launceston taking on the Hobart Chargers in Kingborough in April.
Good evening. St Helens with 25, our top today. Hobart 21, Launceston and Devonport 23 and Burnie 20. Friendly Beaches 24, Flinders Island and Bushy Park 21. Smithton and Low Head both on 20. King Island and Grove 19. Strawn 18 and a cool 13 in Lyawini. A few showers over the west, central and southern parts. 5 millimetres at Warra, the best fall today, as unstable air followed a cold front through. That extensive area of cloud also affecting southern South Australia and Victoria. Thunderstorms active over southern Queensland and New South Wales, central and western Australia mostly free of cloud. Tomorrow, a high centred well to our west extends a ridge our way as a cold front approaches our southwest. Low pressure troughs linger northwards. Winds cool and southwesterly in direction at 15 to 25 knots, easing to 10 to 20 knots during the afternoon. Swells in western waters to 4 and 5 metres. Hobart 19 tomorrow and partly cloudy. 17 the top for Adventure Bay, maybe a shower or two clearing from Tarraleah, 12 the maximum. Launceston 20 and partly cloudy. Devonport 19 along with Bridport. Burnie expecting a high tomorrow of 19 and partly cloudy. A shower for Strawn 17, Marrawar 17 as well. And for St Helens a top of 19 and partly cloudy. Swansea the same and Whitemark sunny and 19 degrees. UV dropping to 8, but that's still very high on the scale tomorrow. On Wednesday, showers over the west and far south, fine and partly cloudy elsewhere. Cup day in Launceston okay, 21. Showers on Thursday over the west and south, extending northwards late morning and elsewhere by evening. And on Friday, mainly fine but partly cloudy with southerly winds. A hot and sunny 38 in Perth, cooler in Adelaide, 22 there, Melbourne just 19. A morning shower in Canberra, 19 as well. Showers in Sydney, possible storms for Brisbane. Hobart, partly cloudy at 17 right now in Launceston, 19 degrees, mostly sunny in Devonport and currently 17. Not stating the obvious, Kim, but this week a bit cooler than last week.
And that's all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us. Good night.